Welcome to the mid-season finale of Gary Talks. As I've mentioned a couple times this season, I'll be turning 50 later this year, and in honor of that, I looked at my top 10 favorite films from the year I was born, 1975. The response to that was really great, so I did another episode where I looked at my top 10 favorite films from the year I turned 10, 1985, and you guys seem to love that one too. So I'm going back to that well again, and today I'm going to talk about my top 10 favorite films from the year I turned 20, 1995. You know, a lot of times when you look back at your favorite films of a particular year, you think about where you were at that time. For me, at 20, I was in college. Me and my buddies were going to see movies every weekend because there really wasn't a lot else for us to do. I mean, the girls weren't talking to us and we weren't of drinking age yet, which certainly stopped us from having beer. Back in 1995, you could feel Tarantino's influence on so many movies, with a lot of movies just being straight-up Pulp Fiction ripoffs. My number 10 favorite film of that year, though, went in the opposite direction. Instead of trying to be cool, trying to be hip, it was a sweet film. One that was sweeter than anything else that came out that year. Coming in at number 10, Babe.
Ram you. To your breed, your fleece, your clan be true. Sheep be true, ram you.
What did you say?
The Little Pig That Could. Babe is gentle, kind, and deceptively profound. It's a children's movie that doesn't condescend, telling a story about identity, acceptance, and courage with grace and sincerity. The animatronics and visual effects still hold up, and James Cromwell gives a beautifully understated performance. And the movie's final line?
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Cinematic poetry. Babe proves that sometimes the quietest films leave the deepest impact. When my number 9 favorite film of 1995 came out, it very well could have been my favorite film of that year. But once I began my career in the entertainment industry and moved to Los Angeles and started dealing with real people like the characters in this movie, I started liking it a lot less. And then, now that we know how things have gone with Kevin Spacey, you see a lot more of him in this role, which also probably makes it a little harder to watch. But still, it is a great film. It's in my top 10. It's number 9, Swimming with Sharks.
I asked you to go get me a packet of Sweet and Low. You bring me back equal. That isn't what I asked for. That isn't what I wanted. That isn't what I needed. And that shit isn't going to work around here. You have no brain.
This acid-tongued Hollywood satire is a brutal behind-the-curtain look at the industry. Kevin Spacey is terrifyingly good as a tyrannical studio exec, delivering one of the most vicious performances of his career. The film exposes the psychological toll of ambition and toxic power dynamics with uncomfortable accuracy. It's not for everyone. It's dark, cynical, and kind of claustrophobic, but for those interested in the cost of chasing Hollywood dreams, it's essential viewing. Speaking of Kevin Spacey, he won an Oscar for this film, as 1995 is probably the greatest year of his career. The Usual Suspects.
Number 3, step forward.
How many keys, you cocksucker?
In English, please.
Excuse me?
In English.
How many fucking keys, you cocksucker? What the fuck?
One of the most iconic twist endings of all time, The Usual Suspects is a puzzle box crime thriller that plays like a magic trick. Bryan Singer's direction and Christopher McQuarrie's script build tension and mystery layer by layer, while Kevin Spacey is nothing short of legendary. Some of its mystique has faded with time. Its impact is undeniable.
The only thing that scares me is Kaiser Soze.
Back a few weeks ago, I did an episode dedicated to my favorite Ben Affleck films, and I said that if he wasn't one of the main characters in it, I wouldn't include it, but if I had, this one would have been at the top. It comes in at number 7 for 1995, Mallrats.
What's he doing?
Oh, well, if you stare at this poster for a few seconds, a hidden picture appears.
Wow, it's a schooner.
You dumb bastard. It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
A schooner is a sailboat, stupid head.
You know what? There is no Easter Bunny! Over there, that's just a guy in a suit!
Kevin Smith's love letter to comic books, video games, and 90s mall culture is pure Gen X irreverence. It's shaggy, raunchy, and very of its time, but that's what makes it great. Jason Lee shines in his breakout role, and the film is packed with quotable lines, pop culture debates, and wonderfully low-stakes drama. Mallrats doesn't try to be anything more than what it is, a proudly nerdy, foul-mouthed slice of slacker life, and that honestly is part of its enduring cult appeal. Next up, at number 6, a movie that's crazy to think is 30 years old, Toy Story.
Hello? Oh, yeah! Ah! Whoa! Hey, whoa! Did I frighten you? Didn't mean to. Sorry. Howdy. My name is Woody, and this is Andy's room.
The birth of a revolution, Toy Story changed animation forever, but its technical innovation is only part of the story. What makes it special is heart. Pixar's debut gave us characters with depth, humor, and emotional arcs. Woody and Buzz's rivalry-turned friendship feels more honest than most live-action films. It's full of smart gags, rich world-building, and gentle life lessons. Whether you were a kid in '95 or saw it as an adult like I did, it's hard not to be charmed and moved by its sincerity and imagination. I mentioned how Kevin Spacey had such a great year in 1995, but another up-and-coming actor did as well. That was Brad Pitt. We'll see him later in the countdown, but here he is in a movie at number 5, along with Bruce Willis, 12 Monkeys.
You go to the charge nurse, you tell her day, the time, the show you want to see is on, but you have to tell her before the show is scheduled to be on. There's this guy, and he was always requesting shows that are already played. Yes, no, you have to tell her before. He couldn't quite grasp the idea that the charge nurse couldn't make it be yesterday. He couldn't turn back time, thank you, Einstein. Now he was nuts. He was a fruitcake, Jim.
That's it, Jeffrey. I want to get a shot.
Terry Gilliam's mind-bending sci-fi thriller is visually distinctive and intellectually ambitious. Bruce Willis gives probably his greatest performance as a time traveler trying to prevent a pandemic. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt delivers a frenetic, scene-stealing turn that nabbed him an Oscar nomination. 12 Monkeys is chaotic, complex, and steeped in dread. Its ending loops back in devastating fashion, challenging viewers to rethink everything they've seen. It's a puzzle box of a movie that rewards multiple watches. Number 4 is the movie that I laughed at the hardest that year. Back in these days, you would get these passes to see advanced screenings by calling radio stations and being the 7th caller or whatever, and my college roommate and I won passes to see this movie. We went there, it was all college-age people, we were all the perfect age for this insanity, and I still quote this movie constantly. The funniest movie of 1995, and my number 4 favorite film of that year, Billy Madison.
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace. I know from experience, dude. You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
Well, not me personally, but a guy I know. Him and her got it on. Woo-wee!
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. But you can imagine what it'd be like if they did, right? Huh? Everybody on? Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful.
The absurdist comedy that launched 1,000 quotable moments, Billy Madison is a masterclass in juvenile humor done right. Adam Sandler's ridiculous charm shines through as the man-child forced to redo every grade of school to earn his inheritance. What elevates it is the surreal sketch comedy tone, and the fearless commitment to the bit. It's a perfect reminder that dumb can be brilliant when it's this confidently weird.
That is correct.
Coming in at number 3 is the movie that I watched on my birthday that year. And yes, I pretty much remember every movie that I saw on every birthday because that's something that I used to do all the time for my birthday. It won the Oscar that year, Braveheart. Mel Gibson's sweeping historical epic is pure, bloody, emotional spectacle. Braveheart blends romance, rebellion, and tragedy with grand battle scenes and a rousing score. It's a film that wears its heart on its sleeve, raw, idealistic, and soaked in passion. While historians may argue the details, there's no denying the film's cinematic power. It's a stirring, mythic story about fighting for something bigger than yourself. I mentioned Tarantino's influence earlier, and this movie definitely feels like it was inspired by Tarantino, but that doesn't make it any less great. Coming in at 2, starring John Travolta, Get Shorty.
You're a stuntman, huh?
Yeah.
You any good?
Am I any good?
Oh! Whoa! That's not bad for a guy his size.
Effortlessly cool and razor sharp, Get Shorty redefined what a crime comedy could be. Barry Sonnenfeld's adaptation of Elmore Leonard's novel is a masterclass in tone, balancing Hollywood satire with mob movie grit. John Travolta, fresh off Pulp Fiction, is electric as Chili Palmer, a loan shark who discovers the movie business might be even dirtier than organized crime. With a killer supporting cast and a whip-smart script, it's endlessly quotable, stylish, and sly. A peak 90s gem with brains and swagger. So 1995 was a great year for Kevin Spacey and a great year for Brad Pitt. And when you put them both in a movie, it also became a great year for film fans. My favorite film of 1995, Seven.
It's disturbing how easily a member of the press can purchase information from the men in your precinct. I visited your home this morning, after you'd left. I tried to play husband. I tried to taste the life of a simple man. It didn't work out. So, I took a souvenir.
David Fincher's Seven isn't just a thriller, it's a descent into moral decay, obsession, and the nature of evil. With its rain-drenched aesthetic, methodical pacing, and one of the most harrowing endings in cinema history, it earns the top spot for its daring and unforgettable execution. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are perfectly cast as detectives chasing a killer who turns the 7 deadly sins into a grotesque art project. Seven is haunting, thought-provoking, and devastatingly well made. It gets under your skin and stays there. It's by far my favorite movie that came out the year I turned 20. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I mentioned earlier this is my mid-season finale. It's summertime, so I'm going to take a few weeks off from doing this show just to enjoy the summer. I'll be back in early July just in time for the new James Gunn Superman movie to come out as I rank all the previous Superman films. I'll see you then. Enjoy your summer.
From capes to tapes, Gary's on the case. He's breaking down each scene, every place. On Gary Talks, he's quick with his peculiar wits. From plot twists to the comic strips, Gary's flipping sick.